What if I told you that Ocarina of Time, a game remembered as one of the greatest adventures of all time, has within it a monster so disturbing and so unnerving that even decades later, players still shiver when they think of it? No, not Ganon or Bongo Bongo. I'm talking about Deadhand, a creature that looks like it crawled straight out of a nightmare. Pale, bloated flesh, a head that's more jaw than face, and arms. Horrible, grasping arms that stretch from the ground like skeletal trees, waiting to snatch you. This isn't just another Zelda enemy. This is a monster designed to terrify you on a primal level. And here's the thing. Deadhand isn't just a one-time scare. The more you study it, the darker it gets. Its design, its behavior, and even where it appears in the game all seem to whisper something unspeakable about the Shadow Temple and the dark history of Hyrule. So today, we're going to dive deep into this creature. We'll explore its disturbing design, its unsettling behavior, and the horrifying lore that might explain why it exists. But before we begin, if you like what we do here and want to support the channel, please give the subscribe button and bell icon a big Master Sword pedestal plunge to never miss when a new video drops. Also, let me know in the comments what country you're watching this video from and what time it is for you. This is the story of Zelda's most disturbing monster and the nightmare it represents. Trapped beneath the graveyard. Picture this. You're exploring Kakariko Village and curiosity leads you to the graveyard. Damp earth, cracked headstones, a cold mist lingering. You find a tomb where young Link can crawl inside. At first it seems like a reward, treasure hidden below the graves. But then in the bottom of the well you find something else, something that makes the pit of your stomach twist. The room is strangely empty, quiet. Too quiet. You notice long, pale arms sticking out of the floor. Now, they don't move unless you get too close. Then suddenly, they grab you. And as you're held down, helpless, the true horror emerges. From the shadows, a grotesque figure begins to arise. Its skin looks swollen, almost decayed. Its arms hang limply at its side. Its head droops forward with a jaw that gapes unnaturally wide. It waddles towards you in a disgusting, jerky motion. This is Deadhand, and the sheer shock factor of this encounter is unforgettable. Nintendo, a company often associated with bright colors and cheerful mascots, dropped a full-blown horror monster into their flagship adventure. And here's the worst part. You're not just fighting it, you're trapped with it. The more you struggle, the more its long, grasping arms pull you back into place. The tension of being restrained while the nightmare shambles towards you is the stuff of pure horror. Players often describe this as one of the scariest moments in their childhood gaming memories. Deadhand doesn't just appear, it ambushes your innocence. And it doesn't end there, because Deadhand doesn't stay buried. You'll face it again in a place even darker, the Shadow Temple. But before we get there, let's stop and ask why? Why would Nintendo design something so grotesque? The ghoulish, smiling lump of flesh, the design of nightmares. Deadhand's design isn't random, it's intentional horror. Let's break it down. First, the arms. These long bony appendages jutting from the ground instantly creates a sense of entrapment. And they function like predators lying in wait. But they also evoke something else, the image of the buried dead reaching up from the earth. Second, the body. Bloated, pale, and almost corpse-like. Deadhand resembles a rotting cadaver. Its sagging flesh is exaggerated in ways that make you uncomfortable. Unlike other Zelda enemies, there's nothing stylized or cartoonish here. It's grotesque realism. And thirdly, the face, or lack of one. His head is mostly jaw, a huge gaping maw lined with red like torn flesh. This distorted anatomy plays into what psychologists call the uncanny valley effect. It's humanoid enough to be familiar, but so twisted that it feels fundamentally wrong. And last but not least, and perhaps the most disturbing detail, Deadhand's behavior. When it moves towards you, it doesn't sprint, it doesn't roar, it moves slowly, methodically. like it knows you can't escape. That deliberate movement is often scarier than raw speed because it mirrors the inevitability of death itself. And then when it attacks, it lunges with sudden violence. This contrast, this slow approach, followed by a shocking burst of aggression, keeps you constantly on edge. Now here's something players rarely notice. Deadhand seems to enjoy fear. When you're caught and when you're struggling, the creature doesn't rush. It savors the moment. This isn't just a monster, it's a tormentor. And that's where the real terror begins. Because in Zelda's world, monsters usually have a clear origin. Lazaphos are lizards, redeads are cursed corpses, but Deadhand? Its design raises a chilling question. What is it supposed to be? A demon? A mass grave comes to life? Or is it something worse? Something created deliberately? The nightmare returns, Deadhand in the Shadow Temple. When you finally enter the Shadow Temple, you realize the horror wasn't confined to the well. The Shadow Temple is infamous among Zelda fans. It's not just a dungeon, it's a chamber of secrets and death. Torture chambers, blood-stained floors, spiked guillotines, and endless darkness. And deep within, Deadhand appears again. This second encounter is even more terrifying, not just because you already know what's coming, but because of where it's happening. The Shadow Temple is heavily implied to be a place of execution, a dungeon where prisoners were tortured, sacrificed, and disposed of. Now think about this in context. Deadhand doesn't just happen to be here, it belongs here. For instance, the arms reaching from the floor, they could represent the countless victims buried beneath the temple. The bloated corpse-like body, a reflection of decay. The monster's jaw, the endless hunger of death itself. In this way, Deadhand might not be a single creature at all. It could be a manifestation, a physical embodiment of the horrors that occurred within these walls. Some fans even speculate that Deadhand is the result of the Sheikah's dark practices. Remember, the Sheikah were guardians of Hyrule, sworn to protect the royal family at any cost. But to maintain that power, they used the shadows, secrets, and blood. Could Deadhand possibly be a creation of the Sheikah? A cursed amalgamation of the tortured dead, bound together into one grotesque form to guard their secrets? The Shadow Temple suggests that this is possible. It's filled with evidence of ritual sacrifice, imprisonment, and cruel experiments. Deadhand is not an outlier here, it's a consequence. And that makes this creature more than just a scare, it makes it a story. Why Deadhand still haunts us. Why does Deadhand stick with players even years after first encountering it? The answer lies in psychology. Humans are wired to fear certain things: confinement, disfigurement, and the unknown. Deadhand embodies all three. Like confinement, the arms grab you, holding you still. This triggers a primal fear of helplessness, i.e. you're not in control. Disfigurement, its grotesque body resembles a corpse, but distorted, playing into our instinctive disgust for decay. And lastly, the unknown. Its origins are never explained. The mystery makes it more terrifying because your imagination fills in the blanks. And then there's the contrast. Ocarina of Time is, for the most part, a bright and adventurous game. Green fields, whimsical characters, and colorful temples. Deadhand shatters that illusion. It's the darkness bleeding through the cracks of a fairy tale. I think it's the shock. That sudden plunge into horror is what makes it unforgettable. In fact, Deadhand may be the most effective horror design Nintendo has ever created, because it doesn't just scare you in the moment, it haunts you afterward. What is Deadhand and what does it really mean? The game never tells us directly, but the evidence points to one conclusion. Deadhand is not just a monster, it's a symbol. It represents death, decay, and the price of power. The Sheikah protected Hyrule in the shadows, but at what cost? Torture, sacrifice, secrets buried beneath the earth. And by the way, if you want to see a more detailed video about the ghoulish deeds of the Sheikah and the Hyrule royal family, go check out my video on the Shadow Temple. There will be a link to it in the descriptions for your consideration and convenience. Anyway, Deadhand is the cost of the sins of the Sheikah and the Hyrule royal family made flesh. It's the embodiment of Hyrule's darkest history. A history the royal family would rather keep buried. And that's why you encounter it in the well and the Shadow Temple. Two places tied to secrecy, death, and ritual. Deadhand is the shadow of Hyrule itself. And maybe, just maybe, That's why Nintendo never explained it. Because some things are scarier left unknown. The Court's conclusion. Deadhand isn't just an enemy. It's a reminder that even in the brightest stories, darkness always lurks below the surface. It waits in the shadows. It waits beneath the ground. And the next time you play Ocarina of Time, the next time you walk through the graveyard or descend into the Shadow Temple, remember this. Never trust the hands reaching from the shadows. It could be Deadhand, waiting and hungry for flesh. Thanks for watching, and be sure to let me know in the comments what you thought about Deadhand, and do you think you would survive an encounter with it? Also be sure to like and share the video. It helps us by making sure more people see the video, as well as incentivizes me to keep making them. But that's all I got for this one, guys. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. This has been Chris of Chrisbkingdom. The council is dismissed.